Hello, and welcome to The Cup, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where you can always come here first to quench your reality thirst, and where we put the real and tea in reality. I am your girl, Lana, the resident diva, here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because you know I love me some tea per. And today I'm just drinking water because, water, clear skin, hydration, all that stuff. But, if I was drinking out of a cup, it would only have to be the cup. Because all the cool kids have one. All the cool kids are getting one. And you want one. So get your merch from our merch store at lanagscreation.etsy.com. Link below. Y'all know what to do. So there you go.
I'm like, mine is somewhere. I don't remember where mine is, but it's being washed at the moment. I used it yesterday, but it's being washed. Anyway, I'm Logan Murphy. Say something gay. Gay, we are drinking a sparkling blue raspberry lemonade today.
Okay.
It's wonderful.
Sounds
and I enjoy
delicious.
It. Yes. But if I was drinking it in a smaller cup, I would be drinking it in my cup. Available. Link below.
That will be you, Jack.
Oh, hello. I'm just about here. Hi, I'm Jack. Your resident Twitch streamer, game designer. I'm very tired. Twitch streamer, game designer, college student, coffee addict, and now Ride Up. I have a job.
Hey.
I'm getting money.
Hey.
And I'm tired.
That's how it works.
But I am very excited to be back, and I am on, I think at least my third or fourth bottle of water at this point.
Oh, good.
Once again, being outside all day. Yeah, it'll do it.
Yep.
And hello, I am Dom. I am a Survivor fanatic and a cat dad extraordinaire. Those are really the two things about me that anybody would have to know. And they are the first things that I will tell you within 5 minutes of me meeting you. So really, that's all there is to me. Yeah, I think that covers it.
Hello, everyone. It's Robyn. I'm glad to be back today. Even though I will say I was very bored with this episode, and I feel like I'm gonna be bored going into next week. But whatever. Mother Carolyn is safe once again. That's all we care about. So
that is really all we care about. We are here for what we now know to be the penultimate episode of our coverage of Survivor 44, because the finale is next week. Which makes sense because they normally do the finale starting with top 5. So my roommate scared the shit out of me though, because he was like, he texted me, we're mid-podcast the other day, and he texted me, he's like, oh my God, it's the finale. And I'm like, what? What do you mean it's the finale? I'm not mentally prepared for the finale.
Right.
He's like, oh my God, no, it's the finale. It's a 2-hour finale. I'm like, what do you mean? And then texts me 5 minutes later. He's like, no, just kidding. It's next week. I'm like, I hate you. Lucas. But I'm happy to be back because I was not here last week. And all I have to say is, fuck Danny. Anyway. I
mean, I will say Jack and myself threw a nice hefty party to send Danny on his way. Like, bye-bye, you can go, and never to return again. And please don't do that. You sniffing my torch ever again in your life.
When I tell you, I think when I tell you that is going in my top 10 least favorite Survivor moments ever.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie. I did not like. Well, I liked Danny, and then I felt then I didn't like him. But I will say, I didn't mind the going out the little.
Robyn,
Kind of cute. It was adorable. It was funny to me. I'm sorry.
adorable.
I'm sorry it made me laugh. Like
Robyn,
I
what?
literally I was watching my TV, just going
When
the whole
Jeff
time, just like
when Jeff isn't entertained by your bit,
Right. Jeff was like,
you could see the death in his eyes, going.
literally. Just this. No.
I guess
No.
because I rather that than someone just take their torch up there and just get it snuffed and just leaves. Like it's boring, you know. It was a little spicy. It was a little different.
I mean, it was okay.
Spicy from
Not
him?
spicy. I'm gonna say, I don't think it was
Not spicy as
It was
in like
different. It
he
was
made an
different.
explosion. But
It was different. Different is not
It was
good.
different. And
Oh,
I'm like, okay, sure,
whatever. I
different.
guess
It was very differently different
It
and
was
like
differently
something very different
different.
that you weren't expecting
trained
and
to
shouldn't have
yeah,
happened.
it was nice. I
Yeah, it was
enjoyed it.
differently different. Everybody's so creative.
Everybody is so creative. At this point, she better sponsor us, I swear to God.
I just want her to come on the show. That's
I
it.
would
Talk about
die.
her every day. But
I would
okay.
die. Dom,
I
any
would
thoughts
actually
on
say-
last week's episode since the three of us were not here?
Yeah, I was underwhelmed as usual for this season. Really confused, especially going into this week's episode as to why Jamie and Lauren didn't take the shot at the Tika 3. And then this week they're kind of like, oh, well, we really desperately need to break them up and we're on the outs now and we don't have the numbers. I'm like, but you chose that, I mean, obviously Carolyn played the idol, so it wouldn't have mattered, but they chose deliberately to put themselves in that situation. So I'm just a little confused.
Yeah, they could have made a plan to be like,
Yeah.
let's Jam Jam is safe. Let's put the votes on Carolyn instead of Heidi.
Yeah, or just anything that would like not put them in a minority position in the final six. Like, not only did they not have the numbers against Tika, but the person that would be able to even tie it up with them was the person that they just betrayed again the last round. So I didn't really understand the strategy of it. I'm assuming that there must be some really strong social play by the Tika 3 that we're not necessarily seeing, but it's just frustrating when you're like, there's not any. I mean, I think the Tika 3 are playing very well, but where's the strong gameplay from everybody else? It's like when you can kind of telegraph what's going to happen, and the players in the game even say that. I think Jamie last week said we're going to leave them in the game and give them the majority, but then they just let it happen. I mean, the thing that's frustrating to me is that I know there's a lot of praise for the Tika 3, and I definitely think that they deserve it, but I feel like we've seen this story so many times before. The tribe that comes in with the least amount of numbers in a merge situation somehow always ends up being the one at the end with like all their members intact, probably because they've gotten rid of everybody that they can't stand. There's no Joshes who they're trying to get rid of. So I don't really. It's not exciting for me to see that as much as it should be, because I think we've seen it before.
I definitely agree. I think we've seen it before. However, this feels different in a way. Like, it feels like when we've seen this in seasons past, I will say it has usually been like the dominant alliance throughout the merge has been, for lack of a better term, the pretty people.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not seeing that this season, where it is truly like the outsiders and people that initially coming into merge, everyone was like, oh, they're the outsiders, we need to get them out. They've built this sort of like legion, and now they are the dominant alliance. And I think that's a little bit different from what we've seen of these kinds of storylines in Survivor in the past. I do agree. I think it feels scripted. It's not scripted, but like it feels like, oh, the Tika 3 might be the top 3, whatever. This episode, I will say the editing really fooled me. I don't know about anybody else, but I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen.
I mean, it felt like it was leading towards one really obvious conclusion, and then there was just a different conclusion that didn't make sense. Like, it made sense once you thought about it, but there was nothing in the episode that would tell you really that happened. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like I don't know. It boggles my mind in this game that people are telling people plans, giving people good plans, and then they turn around and do the complete opposite of the good plan. Like it started with Franny telling Danny, "We need to break up the Tika 3 because Tika 3 is going to run it," and Danny says, little girl and your little girl stuff, your ideas."
Stories, yeah.
Your little girl ideas mean nothing. We won't listen to that. We won't do that. We're not doing that. And then they kept the Tika 3. Then Franny's gone. Then the next week, they come back and somebody's like, "Hey, we really might need to break up the Tika 3 because they're going to run and pick us all off if they still together." And then they go to tribal council and do the complete opposite. Now, as much as I don't like Danny, voting him out at that point was not the right move for anybody who's trying to break up the Tika 3. But I'm like, are you crazy? We see this group, tight as they are, voting together every time, except the one when they went against Carolyn, but they're voting together. They're a block. And even if they don't vote together, they have enough to make sure other people vote the way they want them to vote. And we still like, we'll get them later because it's Kooky Carolyn, Jam Jam, who ain't really doing nothing, and Smart Carson, but we'll get him later. Like, what? What game are we playing here?
Not
like
Smart Carson.
Smart Carson, but we'll get him later because he's smart, but we want him to, be smart for me. But we'll get him later. I'm like, yo, we play these online games, and I see more strategy happening in a 6-hour mini than I have seen this whole season. It's insane. I'm like, you see your threat, you take out your threat. That should be logical. But they acting like that's not the case here. We see a group, but we won't take out the. I've seen people see a duo who they suspect is a duo in the game for 5 minutes, and everybody is targeting that duo.
Yeah.
We all got to go after them because they're a duo, and they could not even really be a duo. This 3 is an obvious 3, and we like, we'll get them later. I don't get it. I don't know what game they playing, but it's surely not Survivor.
I think it's. Go ahead, Jack.
But I don't care because it's those 3, and I want them to go further. Look, if it was any other 3, I'd be like, Lana, you're completely right.
Do we see the purple? Do you see what I'm repping? I don't care because I want the Tika 3 to get there. And I'm
literally wearing all 3 tribe colors today. I did not even realize that. That was not intentional.
I just want the Tika 3 to be sitting at the end so everybody can be like, dang, we should have got rid of the Tika 3. Duh. You're right, you should have. But
well, and the interesting thing too, and I wanted to talk about this because I don't know. This is just how I'm kind of feeling. We've seen these younger players throughout the new era of Survivor. They do pretty well throughout the game, and then they get to Final Tribal and they get 0 votes, a la Xander. Do we think that in this sort of scenario, because Carson is kind of the easiest person of those 3 to take out. Like, he's got, in my perception of what we've seen of the show, he has the weakest social bond with everybody that's left because all of his other strong social bonds are either the other Tika 3 or have already been voted out early in Merge. Do we think that the people that are left in the game, Heidi, Jamie, Lauren, at this point are thinking, oh, we don't need to take him out because we've seen this sort of trend and he's just not going to get any votes anyway because no one's going to respect his game? Because that's kind of where I'm at this point. I'm like, if the Tika is the final 3, I feel like Carson might be a 0 vote finalist.
I don't see him that way. I think he's more of the Spencer archetype rather than like a Xander. I think that's how he would be perceived. And I think if Spencer did make it to the final 3 of his first game, or final 2 his first game, I should say,
he would have won.
He would have absolutely gotten all the votes probably. And I think that Carson probably has that level of respect from the jury for the archetype that he fills more than his age, And then on top of that, I feel like it probably is a story that would play well with this cast. I'm sure we would talk about like, I 3D printed everything, and before I got here, I did all this preparation, and they would probably eat it up. I feel like this is a cast that would be very receptive to that. And I don't think that Xander had necessarily the grasp of the metagame that I think that Carson does.
I think the thing with Carson, where he gets his respect from in this game, is that he was on Tika at the beginning. OG Tika was in a really great spot at Tika, got swapped onto another tribe, and immediately got into a great position on Ratu. Immediately, they never wanted to vote him out. He always had people wanting to keep him in the game. Then Merge comes. He wins. He won that thing that he did. He helped his team win a lot of stuff once they got together. He helped his team win, and he's just in a really good. Like, people see him as a threat, but they don't want to take him out. And if he gets to the end, I think he'll be able to explain his game way better than Xander. Like, Xander had no social capital at all in that game. Absolutely none. Nobody respected him. Everybody thought he was a flip-floppy, snaky kind of, like, they just didn't like him.
Yeah.
Carson is the complete opposite. They actually like him. And then the fact that he's so young and they like see that, they'll actually respect that. Like, this young kid came out here and dominated his socially in this game. Now he gonna have to win some of these challenges. I think he gonna have to win an immunity idol in this next episode. He gonna have to win something to say, and also I can win for myself, because he hadn't won immunity.
He did win one. It was a puzzle. But,
yeah, he won. He won the starfish puzzle at 8.
Oh yeah, he won that one handedly too. Oh yeah, never mind. Then he all right. Carson is okay. Carson is okay. I don't think he going. If he make it to that final 3, he got a really good shot at winning, which I'll be happy for, because he was my winner pick. But that's just not neither here nor there. But yeah, I don't think he's Xander. Xander was.
Yeah, I don't think he's Xander either. I personally wouldn't want him to win, but that's the same.
I mean, I don't. If he's up against Carolyn, I definitely don't want him to win. But
honest to God, of everybody left, he might be my last pick to win.
I agree.
I picked him winner preseason, so.
And congrats on beating me in that, Lana, because
I did that.
My winner pick couldn't keep her threat level under control.
Oh, not Franny.
That's Franny. I picked a good one this time, though. Normally I pick an early out. Normally I pick an early out, but I was like, no, I'm gonna pick Franny. Yeah. So, should we talk about the episode?
Yeah, let's jump in. Almost 20 minutes in, and they said nothing about this episode. But yeah.
Well, this is the first time all 5 of us have been together this season. Yes. There's going to be a lot of discourse, obviously.
Yes.
So, we jump into the episode. We are coming back from Tribal, where Danny was eliminated. And the whole conversation is just, oh my God, Carolyn, you had an idol. Carolyn. And so she gets the classic Survivor crossfade explaining her story. And I'm very glad that Sarah got more screen time in this episode than she did when she was actually in the game. That's not shade. That's just a fact.
Shade me, but okay.
Not that. Oh my God.
Where's the lie? Where's the lie?
There's
none.
Sarah, you seem like a lovely human.
But baby,
I'm so sorry you got fooled by 2 sticks.
You got the purple edit. You got the purple edit for real.
Bury that. But yeah, so Carolyn is explaining it, and this is where the start of where we see Jam is kind of like, Carolyn's a threat. And then everyone is kind of like, Carolyn's a threat. And then the theme of the episode, Carolyn's a threat. And I mean, I am happy for them that they're finally realizing that she's a threat. But is it too little too late? Because I think it is.
I do think it's probably too little too late, but I do think that it was not a mistake for her. I don't think that she did it intentionally, but I think she is someone who absolutely needs to establish her case before Final Tribal Council. I think she definitely has a great chance of sitting there, but we've seen her archetype every single time. She's the Nora, she's the Angelina. You know, she's going to get there and get no respect if they didn't already have that for her. So she can kind of really shift the way they see her, because even the way they were talking kind of to her about her at the last tribal council when Danny went home, where it's like, you don't have experience or emotional, like, you know, you could kind of tell like how she's being perceived. So she needs to work on that now. So I don't think that she necessarily did intentionally, but I think it was the right thing for her to really start saying, yeah, I'm not just the kooky lady. You know, I have a lot of strategy here. And think about that when you go to the jury. Let them know that before we are sitting at final tribal council.
And I think there's two big things that are now contributing to her being seen by the jury. One, playing an idol, not for herself, but for Carson. Showing, hey, this is someone that I've been aligned with since day one. I'm choosing not to use this for myself when I might be in danger at a future vote, and I'm going to use it on an ally. I always value someone who plays an idol or an advantage for someone else, because I feel like that's even more, that has a little bit more gravitas to it than playing it for yourself, which obviously is important. I think number two is having Franny on the jury. I think Franny is going to be the number one advocate amongst the men, and now Jamie, we'll talk about it, of the jury. Franny is going to be a big advocate for Carolyn, because and that's another big thing that I think Carolyn did very well unintentionally, working with Franny when she did. And Franny going out might actually be one of the better things that could have happened for Carolyn, because now she has an ally in jury that I feel very likely, I feel very good about the chances of Franny defending Carolyn in the jury.
I actually don't feel that great about it, honestly. Okay. I really don't. Honestly, I feel like Franny, you know, she's emphasized so much that she is a fan of taking tests. And I think that one thing that has happened, and I think has really kind of messed up the game a little bit, is that the jury has been trained to almost see things like as if they're reading resumes or job interviews, you know, and like, here's who checked the most boxes. And I can totally see Franny falling into that trap of, I'm going to think about this in the most logical manner. I'm not going to consider my relationships with these people and think who made the biggest moves, who checked off the most boxes on my list of things that they need to do to be a good winner, even though if you're a true fan of the game, you know that there's no real right way to play other than the best way for yourself. So I think that absolutely Carolyn has a case, and I hope that people see that. But I can see Franny and other juries being like, oh, well, you didn't play the traditional game. Even though, like, I know we grew to love you, it's still not a traditional game that we respect.
Okay. I think that's a fair point.
Yeah, I could definitely see Franny being that. Hopefully she's not, because I don't want that. But I can totally see Franny doing that whole checklist thing. But I also feel like you said, what Carolyn did with this move this last week with this idol could set her up in a position where she was like, she showed them like, I am here to play this game. I'm not just the crazy lady who's clueless. And they're starting to see that. So even though anybody who goes to the jury at this point will know that Carolyn is a gamer. All those people who sat there and watched and was like, Carolyn didn't tell anybody about this idol. Nobody knew. And she played it even though she didn't have to, but she played it for somebody else to show she's loyal to her ally. So loyalty is something that people take into consideration when they, you know, picking the person. The fact that she was playing and nobody even knew how tough she was playing, like to tell that story about the sticks and Sarah and the fake idol and all that stuff. It made people look at Carolyn like, oh,
right, you're really doing stuff in the game.
Right, we actually doing stuff. So that's why when Carson, even if she sends Carson out the door, I'm gonna say this: if she sends Carson out the door, he's going to be a big advocate for her on that jury, because as much as he will feel betrayed, maybe he will know that was a move, that was game, that was necessary. And I think the gamer in him, and I think the gamer in Franny, that'll be the checklist that'll be like, you know what? Yeah. She actually was here to play this game. She was actually strategic. She actually knew when to get me out and when it was the right time. Like, you kept me in all this time to help you get to this point, and then right at the right time you snuffed me. I think that'd be nothing but respect.
I think she's gonna need to do that if she wants to get.
Sure.
I don't know. For me personally, I do admire the fact that she played it on Carson and stuff, but I don't know if Carson's at the end with Carolyn. For me as a juror, I'm gonna be looking at Carson more like, "Hey, Carson, you got someone to play an idol for you."
For you.
You know, and then on top of it, he didn't even really have. He wasn't in. He got 2 votes. Like, he wasn't going anywhere. So I don't know. Yeah, like you're saying, Lana, Carson would need to go to the jury in order for her to get a vote for that, and having people more understand why she did that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
We also have to remember Carolyn is an Orger. I can probably safely assume among the 4 of us that are Orgers, and Domenick, you haven't played any.
No.
I'm gonna safely.
We'll get you started.
We'll get you in. But I feel like I can safely say for the 4 of us that have played Orgs, we've all practiced a final tribal speech.
Oh, for sure.
And I know for a fact Carolyn has too. We all have. We've all been like, if we're ever in that scenario, some of us more than others. Some of us never. But we've all practiced those things and what we're gonna say. And I know for a fact she has been practicing since day 1 of exactly what she's gonna say to jury. I have complete faith in Carolyn's ability to sell her game if she is sitting in the final 3. Mm-hmm. I have complete faith. I just, at this point, I think the difficulty is I think she has to get there.
Yeah.
And I think there are 2 people that will take her and 2 people that I don't think will take her.
Heidi will take her. Carson will take her. Jam Jam is not taking her.
I disagree. I think Carson will take her. I think Lauren will take her.
Maybe now. Yeah. I think
Lauren will. I think, like, we've also seen, again, the edited, we see 40 minutes of a 24-hour game or in this case 48-hour game. We've seen ever since Franny's gone home, Carolyn has kind of tried to start building this relationship with Lauren a little bit, because Lauren's kind of been on the outs. I think Heidi recognizes Carolyn's threat level. I don't know how much Lauren recognizes her threat level, or Lauren may think that their games are so different that, like, she has certain votes locked in already, and that Carolyn is just kind of a non-factor. I don't think Jam Jam does, and I don't think Heidi does.
I kind of feel like Heidi does. I don't feel like Jam Jam does. I don't think so, for sure.
Okay.
I think Carson does because he thinks he can beat her.
Sure.
I mean, I don't know what Heidi thinks about that, because I don't know what she thinks about anything. I don't understand anything that she does. I don't really. She's like proudly playing that idol for herself the one time that nobody actually votes for her. So
was this the last time idols could
No.
Apparently,
5, right? Yeah.
5. She could have won next
I
week.
thought there was a week buffer, but I guess I'm wrong. Or
they took that away. There is literally no idol rounds.
I don't like
I would have even if I thought it was me, I'm not using it today. I would rather go home and save it for 5, and then instead of using it at 6 when I know
5, at least you guaranteed 4, and you're making
start making fire. Yeah.
Like, if I go home at 6 because I held on this idol, it's because I was trying to get to 5. I was just hoping and praying and wishing, and I didn't know if it was me. But I got 5. If I get to 5. Yeah, I don't care if it is me or not. I'm using this idol and I'm getting to the final 4, period.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Or if I win immunity, I'm keeping it and I'm pulling a Marianne.
Right. And pulling it out at the end. Like, and I had this idol, nobody knew. But okay.
But anyway, reward challenge.
We talk a lot.
It locks someone in a ball, and the other 2 have to push them and then solve the table maze.
But they're blindfolded.
But they're blind. Mm-hmm.
Didn't they do this exact same
Yeah.
challenge at this
They-
exact same
yeah.
time last season? Like,
Yep, it's
At
the exact same
the
thing.
exact same time that's the season before,
Mhm.
and the
Yeah.
exact same time before.
I'm
yeah,
like,
I
why-
mean,
we just go.
I'm
recycle
really
this.
hoping they
Did
changed
they
it
do
up
it
for
in
Survivor 44.
42? Did they do it in 42?
They did. Then 42.
I
and
remember
44.
Marianne doing this. I remember Mike and Marianne doing this challenge.
Yep. They've done it since 42, 43,
Is that
44.
41?
Maybe 41.
I don't think they did it in
remember.
41.
No, they did in 42.
For some
They
reason, I
definitely-
remember Erica in the ball, but I could be wrong.
I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway, it was a blowout until it wasn't a blowout, and then it actually got pretty close at the end. My favorite moment, maybe of the whole season, is just Carolyn blindfolded, just
Every time.
Carolyn, once
Running.
again, screaming
I
at a
don't
challenge.
think you all left me. You left me. Why? I was like, what is happening?
If she doesn't win, she better be the #1 casting choice on the next Second Chances. Like, I'm telling y'all, she is just entertainment gold and one of the best casting choices they've made in a long time.
absolutely. And I think the thing that makes her stand out so much is that the edit has actually treated her with respect that they usually don't for people like her. I think that's the amazing thing, is that we've really gotten to see her rationale for things. Like, I could even think of someone like Angelina. I know she's not very similar to her, but like, I felt sometimes Angelina had very valid points, but still there was kind of like that like dodo music in the background as she's talking about it. With Carolyn, I never feel that. Like, even if she's being her quirky self, I feel like there's a level of respect for her in the edit, which is actually really refreshing, because usually she would be treated like a joke by the editors of this show.
Which makes me think, Dom, either she
Mhm.
wins
Mhm.
or she gets taken out at 4. I think those
Yeah.
are my realistic scenarios right now for Carolyn. Either she goes out at fire making, which again I don't see happening, because she is probably practiced fire. Her and Heidi have practiced fire more than anybody else. More than everybody else combined, I would probably say. So I feel like she either goes at 4 or she wins. Because I completely saw the exact same thing. Because we get that sort of dodo music, like you were talking about. We got it with Angelina. We got it with even like Natalie White to an extent. If we're going like all the way back, I remember some of her editing was weird, but she won, so whatever. But especially with like Angelina, with Nora, like those are like those people get those like weird kooky edits. Even Heather to an extent on 41 got a lot of that.
Mhm.
And I'm not getting that from Carolyn's. We got it earlier on. We're not getting it now. So I'm just like,
I see a winner edit. That's where I see it. I see it as a winner edit. I'm just going to choose to believe that this is a winner edit. I don't want to believe it's the final 4 exit edit. This is a winner, and we're going to be celebrating for Carolyn at the finale. Thanks. Great.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because it almost feels like the edit is the mirror of how the players have seen Carolyn throughout. Like, at the beginning, there were a couple joke edits towards Carolyn, and then she won, and then she grabbed the idol, and even that was considered like a joke.
Yeah.
It was like, oh my god, oh no, comedy verse. And as we've gone on, the edit's gotten a lot more favorable, and like even the moments that could be taken as jokes are like, they're jokes, but she's doing well in them. So I think it's a really nice parallel. And once again, the editors are actually doing something good. Like, finally.
I appreciate it. But we get reward winners.
Yeah. Jim, Lauren, and Carson. Great.
Jam finally.
Jam
got-
Jam won a
He
reward.
finally eats. He finally gets to eat.
I was happy for him.
I mean, I didn't realize that Jam was there that whole
Yeah,
time and
I
never
didn't
got to eat. I was like, oh, he didn't get to eat at anything,
Right.
any challenge or anywhere.
I feel like they brought it
Yeah.
up last week, or it was when they went to the sanctuary last time.
Mm-hmm.
He comes back and he's like, I still have never been on a reward. Like, he didn't win the merge. He didn't like any of it.
Wow. Yeah, that's
So-
It's
funny.
hard to feel too bad when it's like, usually that would be like someone who just made the merge saying that they never had gotten a reward.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and they've been fighting since the start. Tika did not have a good start by any means of the imagination.
No.
So, but yeah, so they go to the sanctuary. It's what, sandwiches and a massage or something like that.
Foot massage, sandwiches,
massage,
drinks, and cookies, all kind of stuff.
Work.
I mean, I'm
Love
here for it. I would have tore that up. The sandwiches look good, actually. I was like, ooh, all right, for something. Because, some of these rewards, their food be looking kind of iffy.
Those PB&Js, I'm like,
Is that crunchy peanut butter? I don't want that.
it absolutely should be.
I don't mind it.
Oh,
I don't want
no
crunchy
peanut butter.
No, absolutely
No.
not. No crunchy peanut butter.
So dry. Yeah,
Am I the only crunchy peanut butter defender in this podcast?
No, I'm here with you.
Thank you, Jack.
First food, but crunchy, I don't like hate it.
Okay, so it's a 2 to 2 to
Falling
1.
apart of
Work.
peanut
It's
butter.
too busy in your mouth. It's all that
Yeah.
stuff, and you just keep drying out because you got to deal with the side and the crunchy. No, thank you. And then they look like
I get extra
hard
crunchy.
bread. Then they put it on that what it looked like hard bread. I'm like, come on.
Okay, tangent. But I make my peanut butter and jelly sandwiches differently because I make grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwiches because it's the only proper way to eat them.
Okay.
And like I use sourdough bread, a whole hell of a lot of butter, and I fry it, and I use strawberry jam, and it's phenomenal.
I mean, that's fine, but it's not hard rye bread. That's just
absolutely not.
That hard crusted. No, okay.
Okay, well, don't judge the quality of the peanut butter based on the quality of the bread, Lana. They are two different factors.
Crunchy peanut butter actually is not good with that dry bread because it's just dry peanut butter.
Okay, well, it's good on every other kind of bread. So what about it?
You know what? See, we will talk after we get
So
off
the
here.
foot
I promise you
massages.
this. I promise you this because you won't do this to me today. Anyway, but their sandwiches look delicious. It looked great, and they had juice and sweet tea and all kind of stuff. It looked good, and they got foot massages. Like, come on, like, please. And it was nice listening to like first seeing Jam get to eat. And he's like, oh, this is what me and my husband do on vacation. This is so great. We get a massage at the beginning and a massage at the end. So great. And then Lauren's story, she's like, I'm a single mom. I don't have time to get pampered like this and spas, dates, or anything like that. And I don't have the money. I don't have the time. And it's so lovely to sit here and get a foot massage. I was like, I wouldn't mind a foot massage myself. Right. It was beautiful. I was a little jealous of this one. I was like, ooh, a foot massage and good food. Good reward. I would have been really upset if I was the people back at camp, like eating rice and coconuts. Like, this is some bull. I don't want to do this anymore. But it was lovely. I was thinking it was gonna be something else, like a letter for family mixed in there, or some kind of advantage stuck somewhere.
They really have not
stuck anywhere.
I was gonna say they really have not. They do all their advantages in the pre-merge now, Lana. There's so many trips on the adventure, whatever journey bullshit that like who needs to place a thing in a reward anymore?
I need an idol in a reward.
Please.
I just at least one. Like they didn't even do it at the other sanctuary or any other sanctuary. I want one where somebody is sitting there and they eating their food and they look over like, whoop, and then they slide their hand over to the side and then they pull it to their back and they stick it on their face. I want those moments again. We don't get those moments because no hidden anything is stuck anywhere. I miss that. I do
too. But so the dominating conversations at the reward, it's let's take out Carolyn. Mm-hmm. And back at camp, it's let's take out Carson. Mm-hmm. There's just a lot of talk about breaking up the Tika 3, and then literally none of it happens, but it's okay. Jamie's like, we need to pit them against each other, so let's take out Carson. And Carolyn agrees, and then in confessional's like, no. And then Carson at the Lauren is like, we need to take out Carolyn, and Carson at the reward is like, yes. And then in confessional, he's like, no.
Absolutely not.
And Jam is like, oh no.
Jam is like, yes, Carolyn, but I'm sad about it. But yes. Carolyn, but I'm sorry.
Yes, but no, but yes,
But
but
yes,
no.
but no. But yes, but
Right,
no.
and I understand like Jam like feeling like Carolyn's like this big threat now.
Mhm.
But I'm glad he has someone, I don't like that little shitty booty bottom twink Carson. But
Now that is a drastic. I will be pulling footage from earlier this season, Robyn, where you were head over heels in love with this twink.
But I will say, I do love his strategy. I do love like he's able to like rein in Jam, who's had some terrible fucking reads, had some terrible
reads.
strategies this
Oh my
entire
God.
season. I'm glad Carson's there to be like, we're not doing Carolyn Boo. No. I'm just tired of Jam. Like, I'm sorry. I like him. I like his personality, but the way he's playing the game, I don't know. Out of the Tika 3, I would say it's like Carolyn, Carson, and then him, but that's just my opinion.
I kind of agree, and I feel really bad saying that.
I don't. I just feel like he wants to say Carolyn's emotional. He is just as emotional. And then he wants to mask it like, oh no, I just felt like I mean, it's just my personality. It's my charisma. Like, no, boo, you're emotional.
And Carolyn's only emotional because you're always betraying her and you're always doing her dirty.
Right. I'm like, did you not leave her out of the vote? And he's like, well, it was only one time. It was a big time. Like, you left me out. A very big thing when we're supposed to be working together.
You left her out multiple times.
Right. He'll turn around and say it's only once. And she said, no, I did it to you once. You've done it to me multiple times. And I'm taking it back. And I'm taking you back. Jam is he's a bad reader. Like his reads in this game is horrible. Horrible.
Yeah. And I know I'm hoping that his story when he goes to the jury is not that everybody tried to take me out, I've taken them out, because I feel like they've emphasized that a lot, but I'm also like, I don't really feel like that really has been that much of a thing with him. And then also, I will just say, last season, did it matter when Cassie was targeted every single round and no one seemed to care and say that was impressive? If people think it's impressive when Jam does it, I'm going to be back on Twitter causing mayhem and getting into fights with people again because the double standard is real.
I will be right there with you, fighting it out. Be like, oh,
I didn't like it when Cassie did it. I didn't like when Jam did it.
Well, I did like it when Cassie did it. I did like it, and I am upset that it didn't lead to her winning. And if it leads to Jam winning, I'm gonna say, well, why is it impressive when he like dodged all these bullets? When that was like 2 rounds at the murder.
And it was really 2 rounds. Like,
yeah,
nobody really gunning for Jam. Like for real, it was always somebody else and Jam. Nobody was just saying
he was always the decoy. Yeah,
right. Mm-hmm. He was always the decoy vote, but like Cassie was the vote. Like,
everybody who went home was targeting her when they were going home, basically.
She was the vote. So I will be right there.
That season was also a disaster. So I don't think we can really base anything on future seasons on that season.
No, we had the best winner of the new era.
We don't stop talking about that, Robyn. Okay.
No, I was gonna say
absolutely not.
No, Robyn.
I think Jam would be a very
yeah, we will take you out of the show.
I love you dearly, but sometimes your opinions are shit.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, Dom. Go ahead,
darling.
Oh no, I was gonna say
I'm Alligator.
Oh no! I remember. Yeah, we were gonna fight about this, so we will be fighting. I'm sure in coming weeks, since one of these people, not the alligator, will be having relevance again. So I'll just leave it at that.
Oh Lord! Oh God! Here they go.
But regardless, I was to bring it back to Survivor 44. I do think that Jam would be very much in line with the winners that we've had in these 4 seasons. Like I feel like it's always been kind of a more middle of the road person, no one who made these huge moves. I actually really liked Erica and Marianne's games. I think Jam Jam's is probably on a similar level, but I think it's so funny when Jeff is always like, you have to play this game full tilt boogie, and we're going to get Jam Jam as a winner after we get Alec Gabler, Marianne, and Erica. I'm like, Jeff, the call is coming from within the house now as to what the problem is. And, the changes that you're making are not working because we're getting a very similar type of winner. I don't think that we're seeing anybody who's really rewarded for those huge, bold moves anymore.
No, because we
And to
both
be fair,
know the next week.
Marianne a little, if you think about like the Omer vote out, like that's like Marianne is kind of did that.
Mm. Yeah, well, having just that one move at one point, though, I feel like that's again like, is that all it takes now?
It's just one move.
Yeah.
And it's really just you have to make that one move at the right time to make everybody so impressed. And it's like, I think the only difference with Marianne is that her one move led her, like she was able to guide directly to that final 3. That one move took out the piece where she can now shift everybody into her will and how she wanted it to go. Now, Jam Jam ain't made no moves like that. He ain't made no moves that'll shift anything. Now, if he get rid of Carolyn or if he get rid of Carson, maybe. I don't know. I feel like with this field that's left, none of them are comp B, so all of them are pretty equal when it comes to competitions. And anybody could win. Lauren has won twice. Jam Jam has won. Everybody has won except Carolyn.
Yeah.
And Heidi.
Oh, Heidi has not won anything.
She's not right.
Oh, she has not. Well, no, but I still think she could.
No, because all the other immunities that have been won, like of people that are eliminated, were Franny's.
Right.
And Brandon.
Right. I feel like, but at this point, Heidi could have won that last one. She was close to the end to win that one. The field is open for anybody to win these competitions now because none of them are absolutely beasts, but all of them are like equal playing field when it comes to the comps. So any of them can win.
I kind of like that.
No, I like it too, but I don't know why they didn't get rid of Carson though. I still don't understand. Like that would be the one. You go down and there's going to be puzzles, and he's gonna like get it in 2 seconds. He's done it so many times now. I would vote him out for many reasons if I were on that season with him. But if that would be the one thing, as future players, please, if you see that person who can do puzzles that quickly, know that this show is not going to stop being lazy. They will reuse the same puzzles, and that person will finish those puzzles in 2 seconds. And you're going to not win the final immunity challenge because you have someone who has studied it already.
Right. Make it 3.
No, don't say that because that's what I would do.
Well,
I would like to say I would do it, but I was doing like 3rd grade puzzles to prepare for these types of shows. I was like, that's all you have to know, right?
I have access to a 3D printer. I could print all of them.
You need to get a 3D printer and do it. So
I have access to one. So
get to work.
Anyway, we kind of breezed past the immunity. Lana, you brought up like a good chunk of it because genuinely nothing happens because most of them fall within the first minute and a half. It's the ropes and the ball is on the disc, and then if it drops, you go bye-bye, and Lauren wins.
Yeah.
I'm actually thrilled. Lauren. I still love Lauren.
Absolutely same.
I am still a fan of Lauren. If she wins this game, I wouldn't be mad at it at all.
I would be confused.
Confused, sure, but mad, no.
Genuinely, I think the only scenario, and I love Lauren, and I think she's great. At this current moment, not knowing what happens in the finale, I think the only universe Lauren wins is if she's against Heidi and Jam Jam.
Except for the fact that Jam Jam would somehow still pull out a win in that weird scenario.
Because how many Ratus are on the jury?
Brandon and Kane and Jamie.
And Jamie. I think Carolyn votes for Lauren, and Carolyn votes for Jam Jam.
It depends on Jam Jam took her out.
It depends on if Jam Jam takes out Carson and Carolyn, or is it Lauren and Heidi doing a resistance and and starting to pull moves like they have not done.
And for entertainment value, quite frankly, I would like to see that next week.
Oh yeah. No,
But-
I want somebody to do that. You know, it's tough because it's like I don't think that big moves are the only way to win. But like the potential for any one of these people to have made an impressive move, and instead they're just like, no, thank you. I'd rather just do the dumb thing.
Literally.
Yeah, I haven't seen much Survivor, but I've seen this new era, and I've seen that a lot, right? I think the perception is if you do a big move, you know, then you're next. And we see that kind of this week with like Carolyn doing a quote unquote big move last week, and then now her head's on the chopping block, and it's like, are we not supposed to play the game at all? Because then you're viewed as a threat and people want to take you out. So I understand people's hesitation of wanting to do all these big moves and save it for like a certain point. But yeah, it's frustrating because we do want like the best game player to like win.
But we've passed that point. Is the thing. I think to that point exactly, Robyn. Like everyone's waiting for the moment to make the big move. We're past that moment. The big moves were Franny and Danny, and if you were not a part of those big moves, then you need to either win out or figure out something that's going to pale in comparison to taking out Franny or Danny. Because those were the big moves. Those were the threats. And they went earlier than I think any of us really anticipated.
Yeah.
I didn't expect either one of them to go out 8th or 7th.
Can I say, yeah, I don't know where Heidi's going this week. Like, I think with the idol in her pocket, I don't know if she knew she was going to play it or what, but she has this power. I think she could have really used it for her benefit this week. Be like, hey, I have an idol. They can't vote me out. Let's try to make a move against the Tikas. I think she missed her shot, and I don't know what Heidi is thinking. And I can see people taking her to the final 3 because they see that her game is not as strong. Yeah. Or as to me as a viewer, I'm not seeing that her game is as strong as the others.
And I don't think that it's necessarily like I think that the strength of a move doesn't have to be about who you're even taking out. Like if you even look at like Natalie Anderson taking out Baylor with her idol, it's like, was Baylor a threat? No, but like the flash, the way that she did it, just commanded the respect of that jury.
It's a move you can own. It's a move
yes, but Heidi is just like, I'm not going home. And whenever somebody does that and you get 0 votes, it's like, oh, like golf clap, like, oh, how cute that you thought anybody actually wanted to get rid of you. And it's funny because people did want to get rid of her other times, but she kind of turned it around as in like, oh, I'm going to play an idol and no one actually wants you out. And it's just like a womp womp, such a whimper. And with the amount of airtime that gets invested into like people searching for idols, like keeping up on Heidi's idol, when those, probably even more than the players in the game, I'm just like, Heidi, I'm disappointed in you because we had this, that was a slog of hearing you talk about your idol for week after week, only for you to play it when you get 0 votes.
And I was so excited for her to have the idol too. She was the one that kept her mouth shut. No one. Her and Carolyn, oh God. I'm glad some people could keep speaking.
Yes, finally.
It feels good. But they misplayed both. Well, Carolyn, you could say, was not misplayed, but she had the right inkling. But Heidi, girl,
I
Carolyn was misplayed.
I don't think Carolyn's was misplayed. I don't think so either because that was the plan. Like literally going into it, that was the plan. Her read was on. Somebody just decided not to do it, but that was the plan going in. And so I don't think it was a misread, and it showed loyalty and that she would do anything to keep her alliance tight. So I don't think it was a misplay. This Heidi misplay, complete misplay. Like, and the fact that even the way she did it wasn't even sassy. Like, I'm staying another week, and it was like, oh, great, sure.
Should we just talk about the result because we've already said who got eliminated like 6 times?
Oh yeah, at this point.
Because let's be honest, nothing substantial happens between the immunity challenge and the vote out. Except for the editors saying, is Jam Jam going to vote out Carolyn? But it literally wouldn't have mattered if Jam Jam had voted out Carolyn or not. Because we go to vote, it's 4-2, and we lose Jamie. And it's like, I do want to give her flowers, though, because I do think she has been a beacon of entertainment this season. With, just some unlucky things that happened, still believing that idol was real, even through her exit interview. I've watched some of her stuff now, and she does talk about, like, when she found out. It's funny. Go watch her exit press. And I think she's been incredibly entertaining.
Yeah.
As a super fan, I'm so thrilled that she got the opportunity to play the game that she loves. She did Arizona proud, despite, not really doing a whole hell of a lot in the game. But I did enjoy her, and I think she's a lovely human.
Yeah, no, she's a very entertaining character. I think her edit, again, like saying how like they really treated Carolyn with respect. I think they treated Jamie with absolutely no respect. She was like Angelina light, but not quite on her level. So therefore, good character, entertaining. Did she leave a huge mark? No. I wish that they would have not just tried to undermine her every single second that she was on screen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think she brought a lot of positive energy too.
Yeah, I liked her
In
positivity.
this mess of a game, I know it's a horrible condition, but she was always smiling and always happy, and I enjoyed that about like a survivor playing. She wasn't like, "Oh, I'm miserable and I hate this." She was very optimistic, so
Yeah.
I like that about her.
And I know she said that on Twitter, I think she said like she had been practicing the puzzles as well. So it's like it's kind of frustrating with that superfan angle. Like they're all like kind of heralded for being such great preparation, and so having such great preparation for the game. And Jamie, who did the same things, it's like, oh, this is true as a joke. I mean, she tried. I don't think that she played horribly. Like she didn't do horribly.
No, she didn't.
But they treated her as they did, as if she did.
I mean, they
She
definitely
got 6, so she did something right.
Yeah.
They tried to give her the clown edit because of the fake idol, and I'm like, don't do that because you tried to give 3 people fake idols at one point. Like you tried to give all these people fake idols, and all of them went home with fake idols in their pocket and da da. It's. I didn't like that. But yeah, Jamie was very like her daily meditations, trying to keep everybody, positive and light, and in this mess of a game, because it is a mess of a game. Everybody's hungry, everybody's tired. But the fact that she was like, let's just center ourselves. Relax, relate, and release. We good. And everybody can be able to go on and do the challenge with the best, as much energy as we could possibly garner. So I kind of love that about her.
Well, I don't appreciate that about her because I think we need more snippiness amongst the players now. Like, I really need to see some more people. Like, I'm not saying like being nasty to each other, but it's someone's favorite. Well, I do want that actually. But Courtney Yates is my favorite player. Like, I want people who will at least snark on your fellow players a little bit. I feel like now it's like
if you're nasty within the premises of the game.
Of course.
Yeah, not like hugely personal attacks. Like I hated like everything with like the Shireen situation. Like that is not fun Survivor for me. But people who are just like a little sassy to each other and like, have a rivalry where they're like you don't like each other and you're gonna just straight up admit it. Like I want that level of Survivor back.
I think that's what I liked about like the Carolyn and Danny dynamics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like that was kind of it, but that's
I think that was like Mayo light. That they're the little.
Yeah, it was like
light. I wanted. I do want the. I don't like you. I don't like you.
Right? They never like clash together. That's
like I wanted somebody to be like, I don't like you. You don't like me. I'm coming for you. You coming for me. Let's see who wins. And
like Owen and James last season.
Right. Even Omar and James.
Well, yeah, I think that to its credit, last season I think that at the end of the game, people really started popping off.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, like I feel like everybody was like really against each other. Like they did not like each other.
The girlies are getting dragged on the timeline now. Still.
Yeah.
I love that.
And that's what I want. And not that I want that to happen to anybody, but like, when there's a little bit of, I don't like, there should be some hurt feelings and people who are.
I feel behind like.
Yeah, if everybody
leaves $1 million, that's what I understand.
Yeah.
And people be cutting each other's necks for nothing, and I'm like, this $1 million. Can you pick up the gameplay?
Well, I mean, if somebody did that to me, though, I wouldn't just be like, oh, I'm gonna be best friends with you afterward. I probably would be bitter. Like, I don't feel like I would be friends with everybody after the show, if depending upon what they did to me. If everybody just worshipped the ground I walked on, and I won in a Kim Spradlin-esque way, absolutely. Like, I will be friends with all of you because you are underneath me. But if people take me out, people took me out, I'd be like, screw you, Carla. I don't like you. You know?
Like, what
Don't
happened to
come
the
for Carla Cruz.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Now let me see Carla next week.
I will be like, let's be friends again. Like I did take a picture with her when I saw. I was very nice to her when I met her in person. I don't dislike her. I even said this because I mean I did have like a big Twitter diatribe in Cassie's defense, and people were really going after Carla. I'm like, no, like no need to say anything about Carla as a person. She seems like a lovely person, and also the fact that she was so petty and kind of grimy at the end means that she was a great reality TV character. Appreciate that. I am not someone who's like, if you brought good TV and we're not like personally offensive, I'm just gonna appreciate that you brought what you brought to the game. I don't need to hate you for it. I just won't like you either. But I think we need more. And it's hard to say that we need that because we need more villains, and we need fans to stop just like acting like someone's a horrible person because they weren't their best self on television.
They played the game. They were trying to win $1 million.
It's for $1 million.
I'm not trying to. I want people to act like they playing for $1 million because right now everybody's so nice and so kumbaya, and it's like, no. If I get voted out by people who I felt I was working with, I trusted you, betrayed me. Oh, I'm going to go off on you at tribal council when I'm about to leave. Like, oh,
I'm going to need you to take out your teeth. Take out your teeth.
Are you killing? What? Like, I'm going off, and then when I have to go and when Jeff has to snuff my torch, I will have words. I'm like, oh, y'all do know I'm going into the jury.
I'm exposing everybody.
I'm going into the jury, and y'all working together, and you working with him.
Exactly.
And you don't know he working with you. And he got an idol, and she got an idol. Okay.
And that's one of the things.
Do you last week, and they were telling me to do you this week.
Period.
And that's another one of the things I cannot stand about this new era is the people who go out fake magnanimous. They're like, oh, it was such a good game. I enjoyed playing with you. And then you find out that they were bitter as hell, like talking trash about everybody after they were voted out. It's like, it's so obvious that people just do it because they want to look like a good person.
They want to be good and make people think on TV like, oh, they're a nice person. No, I don't want to be the nice person as I'm being voted out that I was trying to win $1 million and that you just backstabbed me. I will be my authentic self. I have the right to be upset. I have the right to be in my feelings, and I'm going to be in my feelings. And then afterwards, if I feel like talking to you, we'll talk about it. But in this moment, right now, I'm in my feelings, and I'm going to tell you when I'm in my feelings.
Yeah, and that's the cornerstone of Survivor. This show would not still be around if Sue did not give her bitter speech in the first trial of the council. I mean, that's what this game is built on. It's about personal relationships. It's about actually having emotions. You're allowed to have all these positive emotions. And what did you take from the game? And that's just one side of it. What did the game take from you? And what did the other players take from you? Let's explore that side again now still, because to have $1 million that close to you, I'm sure messes with you. I mean, even last season, what happened to Cody, if that happened to me, I would be traumatized for a long time afterwards. So let's just allow people to actually have feelings about this rather than just say, it's just a game. You should just like shake it off immediately, because it's horrible circumstances that you're living in, playing for life-changing amounts of money. It's not like a game of Monopoly by any means.
Right. I mean, think about the first season of Survivor. The final tribal council, somebody was called a rat and a snake. It's like, you're the rat, you're the snake. That's what this game is built off of.
And then he won.
And then he won. It's like,
but she said that she would not let her give her water if she was dying of thirst. She said she wanted her to die. That is what she said. That's where we are coming from here.
Dude made the daughter cry, or the mama sitting there getting in the grilled at the final three. Like, these are the moves and the things, remember, because they were vicious and they were crazy and they were wild, but it was good TV. And that's what this game is based on. And I feel like this new era, everybody's so trying to be liked for TV and want people to like them, that we don't show up. It's okay. Great game. Great move. Voting me out and backstabbing me in my back allies. Great. Thanks. I'll see you all later. In what life is that real? That's not real.
Yeah. But it's not. And again, the behind the scenes stories that you hear afterward just show people don't actually feel that way. They're just
Right.
playing it up. So that's the other frustrating thing is that, I think Jeff said one of his favorite moments ever was just completely fake when, Drea left and she acted so happy, and then that's not what she actually felt. I would rather see how people actually felt.
Be mad. Say I'm upset. And then go on. And then you can be like, yeah, I felt that way. That's how I felt in mine. You don't have to like it. You don't have to like me. But I felt mad. I got upset.
Yeah.
I called somebody out. And then I left. And then when I do my exit interviews, I'll say, and I felt that. I might apologize later, but now I'm not. Right now, I'm not. So.
And I mean, the fans definitely are part of it too, though, because I mean, as Carla showed, the types of responses that she still gets now, months and months later, show exactly why players don't want to show that side of themselves, because you are setting yourself up to be harassed. But it shouldn't. I mean, that's why the fans have to take some self-reflection as well. If someone, again, there's a very big difference if someone did horrible things or they're offensive and they're a bigot. Of course, I'm not saying like just ignore that. But if someone was just an asshole on the show, I mean, I have to deal with assholes at work all the time. It's not like I'm gonna, go. It's like that's life.
I must say, yeah, I do understand for some people, because I know I will say for women, number one, women of color, we can't get on TV and act crazy and do the same as other people, because then we have the trope. Oh, you're the angry black woman, or you're the angry woman. You're emotional. You can't da 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 da. Or if you're the angry black man, or you're the angry Hispanic, like you don't want to be considered aggressive and angry and things. So some people don't have the luxuries to be mad and in their feelings when they leave. So they gotta say, okay, it's all right. And then they get off, and then they in Ponderosa they rah rah rah. But I don't know. It is what it is. This game is weird. I would love it to go back to the point where villains can be villains, and we get some really good villains, not problematic villains, but good villains, where you can. Because it's some villains we root for. Like, oh, you are a villain, but I like it. And then you have some villains like Sandra. Like, I like it. I mean, when Tika threw that rice out, I was like, I live. So
meeting her is still truly one of the best moments of my life. Truly and honestly, she is just an icon.
But talking to her was everything that I wanted it to be in my life. But certain villainous moves, you like, this was everything. I'm here for it. Like, do that. And then some of you be like, yeah, you're a villain, and I get it. I don't kind of like it, but I get it. There's certain villains I like, I don't really care for, but I understand why they're a villain. Simon. But I'm not Simon, George. King George. George. Survivor, Australia. Yeah.
I have a funny story about George recently, but I'll save that for afterwards. I want to close out by going around the group. So this is our last episode before the finale. So I want to go around and ask everybody, who do you want to win? And who do you think will win? And they will probably be different answers depending on who it is. So I want to start with Jack and then go around the little thing you have here. Jack, who do you want to win and who do you think will win Survivor 44?
Carolyn and Carolyn. I don't think I have to explain myself. But Carolyn, the want part, we've been over this. The part that I think she's going to win. I mean, the edit that I mentioned earlier, where it's like she went from someone that was the classic joke character to, wait a minute, that's a really good, that's another really good one. Oh, she's setting herself up really well. Like it's showing a really nice story of someone who wasn't taken seriously and who proved why she should be taken seriously. And I think the editing team has set us up for that. Or they set us up for her going out at Final Four, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say she wins.
Great. I'm not mad at that whatsoever. Dom, what do you think?
I'm also going to say actually the same thing. So Carolyn is who I want to win, and she's who I think will win. I'm not set on her winning, but I actually was someone who was delusional enough to really see signs that Angelina was winning in her season. So I would
You
love
and me
somewhere.
both, honey. You and me both.
I really was just like, I think that there's something here. I think she might win this thing.
Zero
So, like,
votes.
I want Carolyn to give some redemption. Again, I don't even know that they're the same archetype, but like the larger than life best character of the season actually winning would be a refreshing change. So I choose to believe.
Yeah. I mean, who I want to win is obviously Carolyn. I think she's just been the face of the season. I think she has a really good story, like being that kooky character that people underestimate. Who I think's gonna win? Well, depending on who's in the final three, and judging by the edit, it might be the Tika three. And I could see Carson pulling it out just because people are gonna underestimate Carolyn a little more if Carson's there, and I could see him winning. So that's who I think is going to win.
Okay.
If he won $1 million and sold pillows of himself on day one of being announced, I'm going to be a little upset about that.
Hey, he has to be blocked, so you know what?
That is true. I forgot about that.
Hope he wins $1 million to shut me up.
Lana.
I think mine is the same as Robyn's. I think I want Carolyn to win. But I think if Tika 3 goes together, Carson probably will win. Because I feel like people always and forever will underestimate Carolyn. And that doesn't matter what move she makes. I think people will always see her as the kooky character. And then got people like Danny on the jury who doesn't think women could do anything. So why would he pick Carolyn? And I don't want to put Brandon in the same category, but he was in that conversation where he was just talking right directly over Carolyn while she was sitting right there talking about a boys' alliance and were they all sitting in a jury. But whatever. So I kind of feel like, especially if Carson wins another immunity, like in the next episode, if he wins again and he takes the Tika 3 with him to the fight, like he takes somebody and takes Kill or whatever, then yeah, I feel like Carson could probably win it.
Also, I will just add on to that. He was also in that swap tribe with Ratu, so he has a lot of people in the jury that are potential votes. So.
Kane likes him.
Right.
Brandon likes him.
To nobody's surprise whatsoever, I'm going to make it 5 for 5 and say that I would like to see Carolyn win the season. She has been the entertainment. She's one of us. I think that would just be such a beautiful moment to see her win. I'm actually really happy that the person that not the person I want, the person I think will win is actually not mentioned by anybody else yet. Because if I think about someone that I think will win, I think about someone who has had, and especially looking at the prior 3 seasons that we're looking at with Erica, Marianne, and Gabler winning. I look for someone who has had a very favorable edit the entire season, someone who has been in majorities, but also has been in tight situations where they had to fight for their life and did so very successfully. Someone who maybe won challenges. It's not necessarily a requirement, but that does help. And I think about someone who overall, looking at where the final 5 is right now, I think could gain a lot of votes, not only from the people that are already on the jury, but the people that have yet to be on the jury. And all of that is leading up to say that I think Lauren is going to win. I think she's had a very favorable edit. She has 2 immunity wins and was very, very beneficial in the early tribal parts of the game. She has 3 of her fellow tribe mates on jury right now. Plus, if Carson goes to jury, Carson is someone who did have a moment with Lauren when he got swapped. I think she absolutely can play up the single mom angle. I think that's going to be very beneficial, especially with a jury with potentially a lot of very emotionally driven players like Jamie, like Carolyn, if she ends up on the jury, like Jam Jam. I think there is a universe where, depending on who Lauren is sitting next to, I think votes could split in a way that Lauren could win in a tight vote. So I'm going to say Lauren. And I would be very happy to see Lauren win as well.
No,
She's been one of my favorites since the first episode, and her edit has always been good. And I can't say that for anybody else left in the game. So I'm going to say Lauren.
I'm mad at that.
Yeah, love to hear it.
Plus another Black woman winning, period. That would be great. Like, I'm not mad at that in the slightest. So,
you know me, my motto is I root for everybody Black. So,
and
if
there's
she wins, she wins.
And there's one left. So I'm
One Black person. All my hopes on her right now.
But with that being said, thank you for joining us. I'm so glad all 5 of us could get together finally.
Yes.
All of you bitches better show up next week. No, I'm kidding.
We'll be here next week.
The 3 of us at least are going to show
I
up
know.
on Wednesday.
I know. I'm very thrilled about that. Lana.
I don't know how much of the
Hey,
episode
Lana.
we'll be watching.
Yeah.
No, we're not gonna film it that night. We'll film it when we normally do. But
Yeah.
fabulous. So thank you for joining us. If you're gonna be at it's the Bryson Wendell.
Yes.
Yeah, the Bryson Wendell finale party in New York. It's in New York.
Yes.
Yeah.
Brooklyn. Go find these people if you find them interesting, which you should, because they're all great individuals.
Come talk to me.
Ask me for an autograph. I'm happy to sign any.
I know all 3 of you bitches will too. That's the thing.
I never asked for my autograph, but I've asked to be taken like a picture with. They're like, "Oh my God, you're Robyn. Let's take a picture."
That doesn't surprise me in the
From
slightest.
the community.
If you want to see what Lana and I are doing, otherwise, you can follow us on Twitter. Just the 2 of us. No, I'm kidding. Follow everyone on Twitter because we're all great. Follow all of our socials. We will be. There will be more social media activity coming very shortly from the Cup. Full transparency. I'm out of college for the summer, so now I have more time. We all have a little bit more time to do things, so that's been great. So follow. You're on YouTube. Do the YouTube things. You know what to do. You're here. Just do them. Get your merch. Link below. More merch coming from what Lana has told me, and I'm very thrilled about it. And yeah, cheers.
Cheers, y'all.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye now.
So now we actually have to do the planning to meet up. I think that's the hard part.
Y'all have fun with that.
That is so